It is not Sunday, but it should have been Sunday, but now it's Monday, and it's time for the Cursed Realm Nightmare Corridor speedrun guides. I got home slightly late yesterday, so yeah, I couldn't really record. So I just thought I would do my attacks in the morning, and well, I mean, I know it's late, but better late than never, I suppose. All right, let's start out in the Nightmare Corridor. So for the Nightmare Corridor this round, I just used 10 attacks because for whatever reason, the leaderboard this week was completely easy. So I'll just show you guys the teams that I used. So for the first team here, I'm working a Dragon Gwyneth. And as for the collections, 1+2 for this team will suffice for the Rowan collection. +2 for Leica is good. And other than that, you just go. And one thing you should note is you want to max every tree but the tank tree, because you're not using any tank carries for the Nightmare Corridor. Next up, we have the Athalia team. Now I'm using the Adrian version because the Adrian version is much easier to make work. Again, you need to make sure Orthos has the lowest HP, and you need to make sure Athalia is the strongest hero, so she moves during Orthos' ult, and Liberta links Orthos. One guy asked for the specific substats for this team, so I guess I'll just show you guys what collections. Oh, I guess escape still doesn't work to close this. So these are the collections I used here, and Pauper doesn't use a collection because he is too massive with one. Next up, the Scarlet team. I mean, yeah, it's pretty free-to-play friendly. These are the collections I'm using. I'm using 1+1 in here as well. And other than that, just stacking full attack. Next is the Randall Rem team. So for the Randall Rem team, again, same story as always. Well, I guess I'm using this is probably not optimal. Should probably be full attack. But then again, I only did 10 attacks in here, right? Inside here, attack here, and then ideally a lot of defense on Misha. Next up, we have the Vika round. You can get Vika a lot lower. I don't even know if I optimized her that much, but yeah. You just stack full attack wherever you can. Vika needs to be the strongest hero, obviously, and just full attack everywhere. And last but not least, it's the Baden team. So I'm using Nox. I didn't end up using cards to furniture Nox. If you don't have Nox, I guess I'll show you guys the VLAB guide for different formations. But yeah, Nox isn't super needed. And honestly, I could probably get a better time by using like Gabius or someone else in here. But yeah, here are the collections, right? Speaking of VLAB, let's quickly head over to the browser. This is the Nightmare Corridor VLAB guide. Again, shoutouts to VLAB and the Abyssal Whale Guild. It's the best guide because it shows you the collection substats that you need for the different heroes. And it also has some footnotes. And I'll link this in the description as well. But yeah. I didn't really follow this, I just scoured the leaderboard, but I did follow it when it came to substats of the different collections. And if you don't have Nox, as you can see here, Nevanthi and Shuna can be used in the last team. Probably Nevanthi because you're probably going to need Shuna elsewhere, right? And it also, it has hero benchmark. So as for Nox, right, his furniture isn't really needed. I believe his furniture has something to do with Teat Death. All right, let's just chug along to the Cursed Realm. So for the Cursed Realm this week, yeah, as per usual, Cursed Realm, it's a RNG week, but these are the teams that I used. So I Merked and Awakened Antandra. And then for this team, I guess I'll show you the substat, but you want inside here, +2 here, full attack here, full attack here. Ideally, +2 collection would be good in here, but yeah, it's RNG as always. This team could definitely be better. I'm using double +2. You can have similar result without. You can just use sorry, that was Danish. You can just use the Tassi once on these two heroes as well. But yeah, I ended up tossing in my +2 in here. Probably could be optimized, but yeah, that's just what I ended up doing. One thing that you have to make sure is that Naruko, if you're using my variant, some people use Adrian in here. That's also fine. Then you can use Naruko in the last round, but you just have to make sure that Naruko has the lowest HP. So I don't have gear on her, and also my tank tree is quite low. Next up, we have the SEAL team, right? I'm using the Rako SEAL team. Again, +2 here, inside here, +2 here, inside here, +2 here. Pretty simple. And it's heavy RNG. Like this one usually hits like 15, but it can hit 21, 22. Next up, another heavy RNG team. This one can hit as high as 29, but it's completely unstable. I'm using +2 on Urn. Inside here, yeah, I mean +1 here, and then as much defense as you can get on Misha is good. And it's heavy RNG. And also for some people, the Fire Breather pet, Talisman is better in here for some people. For me, this is definitely better. It can hit much higher, but it's heavy RNG. Next up, here's the Kren team. You can get more damage than me, but the only thing you have to make sure of is that Kren has the highest attack. So yeah, +1 here, just some magic pierce on her. Again, Kren wants attack, so this is my only real attack collection. Ideally, it would be +2 as well. Magic pierce on Palmer, and well, this would ideally be +2, but yeah, again, we're just using whatever we got right, full attack. And last but not least, this is a bit of RNG. It can hit 29, low 29s. I'm using Shuna in here. If you can free up Naruko from this team and make Adrian work, Naruko in here gives you about, well, for me, Naruko gave me about 2 billion damage, so that would be a worthwhile endeavor if you can make it work. As for the collections, obviously defense of this guy, +1 ideally, probably. +2 ideally, yeah, probably. Here I'm just using high attack. Then, you know, your strongest +1 Saurus collection, erosion on this guy, and then full attack on this guy, and just call it a day. But yeah, it's heavy RNG, as you can see. I also spent a good amount of diamonds retrying, and I wasn't even able to get the RNG that I really wanted. I could probably cap out at like, what, 68, maybe even 69, 169 damage, but yeah, didn't end up happening. Right, quickly go to the browser. So here's the curse realm guide for the Dune. Again, I didn't really follow this guide. I mainly looked at, I believe, Quagga's formation in region 14 for the curse realm. I used those formations. Those worked out the best for me, just, you know, at a glance, and then I went into this guide for the collection substats. But yeah, obviously also it has, you know, merc priorities, hero investment, collection substats, and also variants of the different teams, as you can see. This one, and I agree with that. If you can use Adrian in here, it's much better, because then you can use Naruko in here. And you can also use the new pet in here, but for me that was worse. And you can also use Talisman in here, but for me that was also worse than the deer. But yeah, I'll link both of these in the description. And now I'm heading to uni, so I'll see you guys hopefully next Saturday and not Monday again. I apologize for that.